Hey everyone, Andrew back again and welcome to another music update. Got quite a bit of stuff to go through for this update, so I'm going to try and keep it as brief as possible. Placed a pretty large order with Amazon. I'm familiar with Amazon actually. I've done a ton of orders with them in the past in terms of movies, but never with music. And I will say I was a little bit skeptical ordering stuff because I ordered some vinyl as well, so I was a little bit unsure ordering vinyl from overseas with the shipping time and the delivery, like the packaging and stuff, but gotta say, very impressed. Nothing was damaged and the vinyl was all housed in separate cardboard boxes, very well protected. So yeah, I'll definitely be ordering a lot more stuff from Amazon. The stuff I can get that I can't get locally, and the prices are a lot cheaper actually than picking up a lot of albums here in Australia. So yeah, most of the stuff came from Amazon, so got a bit of a variety in terms of formats. I've got a cassette, tape, some CDs and some vinyl. Most of this is thrash however, so yeah, definitely one for you thrash fans. Anyway, enough rambling on, let's get into it. So first up is the cassette. So I came across this on a local Australian music website, and that is the Halloween 2 soundtrack on cassette. I already own this on vinyl. Death Waltz released it years ago. The vinyl's pretty rare now, and I was kind of surprised that this cassette was still available. I'm a massive Halloween nut, by the way. Huge collector of the franchise, so whenever I can get something for the franchise I pick it up. And it's just on white cassette. I'm really looking forward to listening to this. My stereo still has a CD player on it, but I have not listened to a cassette since the 90s. I used to have a Walkman and listen to them all the time, so I'm expecting a little bit of a nostalgic trip when I listen to that. Anyway, let's move on to the CDs now. A couple of these were local pickups, but the majority is from Amazon. This was a local pickup off of eBay. Machine Head's debut album, Burn My Eyes. Not much to say, classic album, one of the best debut albums in my opinion. So that's that one. The next band I've mentioned in a previous video where I went through my top 10 new wave of traditional heavy metal bands, and that is Elm Street. These guys are extremely underrated. They're an Australian traditional heavy metal band with horror influences, especially on this album, which is the debut album, Barbed Wire Metal. Perfect album for this time of year with Halloween and everything. So yeah, if you're a horror fan and you like good clean traditional heavy metal, I highly recommend Elm Street. The next album is one that really needs no introduction. It's a classic, and that is Death with Scream Bloody Gore. Death metal is a genre that I'm slowly exploring, however I'm still extremely picky with what I like. But Death are awesome, very accessible in my opinion. You know, they've certainly got that death metal sound vocally, but then they also have quite a thrash feel to them as well, which obviously I'm a big fan of. This is a really nice release. It's the 2-disc remastered release with the slipcase. Really nice. I've been listening to Death quite a bit online. I think I've listened to most of the albums, and I definitely plan to pick pretty much everything they've put out up in the future, but I decided to start with the debut album Scream Bloody Gore first, so that's that one. Great album, classic. The next album is being played in the background, so if you like the music that's being played in the background, check these guys out. Australian thrash band, Hobbs, Angels of Death. These guys have been around since the 80s and they're still going. This is their most recent album, Heaven's Bled, which came out last year. Great thrash. They still have that raw sound in my opinion. I'd probably say these guys are pretty similar to Slayer, especially their earlier stuff, so if you're a Slayer fan, I definitely especially recommend them. This guy here, Peter Hobbs, he's the lead vocalist or the vocalist. and he's still killing it. He's been around with the band since the start. So yeah, this is another absolutely fantastic album from Hobbs, Angel of Death. Highly recommend them. The next band I've mentioned in previous videos, and I cannot speak highly enough of them, and that is Desecrator. This is the live album. Kind of surprised to pick this one up actually. It's pretty rare now. Limited edition, numbered. There was only 666 or 666 copies released. Someone mustn't have wanted it anymore. I found this on eBay, so picked this one up. In terms of the live album, it's pretty good. And also picked up their debut album, which came out earlier this year, To the Gallows. Amazing album, great from start to finish. There's not really a bad track on here. If you're a fan of 80s Bay Area thrash and you've never heard of Desecrator, you need to check these guys out, because that's pretty much what you're going to get with this band. They are a modern band, however they don't really have that overly polished sound. They've got a very, very raw sound to them, so yeah, I cannot recommend these guys enough. Absolutely exceptional thrash band, definitely one of the best modern thrash bands out there in my opinion. So that's Desecrator and the debut album To the Gallows. Still going with the Aussie bands, Harlot. These guys may be a little bit more well known than Desecrator. They've released a few albums, this one being the most recent, Extinction. One of their best albums in my opinion. Really, really good from start to finish. Just a good modern thrash band that I definitely recommend. So that's Harlot with Extinction. I'm sure you thrash fans, at least modern thrash fans, are pretty familiar with these guys. We have Havoc with their most recent album, Conformicide. What a great album. This is really, really good from start to finish. Very, very heavy on the social commentary though, which I personally really, really like in thrash. It's pretty popular in thrash. Standout song for me is definitely Intention to Deceive. Some absolutely fantastic lyrics on that. Very, very true of what's going on today. But yeah, this is a really, really solid album that probably most of you thrash fans, as I said, are pretty familiar with these guys. You probably already own this, but if not, I highly recommend it. And last up for the CDs, we have a classic band, Rigor Mortis, and their debut album. This is an absolutely amazing album. Very, very heavy, just pure thrash. Really solid. I'm not overly familiar with anything else that they've put out, so I definitely need to change that. But I came across this for really cheap on eBay, so I'm glad I picked it up because I really, really enjoyed this album a lot. Okay, so that's the CDs out of the way. Now let's round off the video with some good old vinyl. So it's been a while since I've really delved into vinyl, and this month I've picked up quite a bit. So first up, again, I picked up Desecrator's To the Gallows album on vinyl. I absolutely love these guys and I definitely wanted to support them, so I picked up the vinyl along with the CD. This was actually the very first thrash album that I listened to on vinyl, and it's definitely got me hooked. This sounds absolutely phenomenal. As I said before, these guys are an Australian thrash band, and very, very similar sound to 80s Bay Area thrash. So definitely check them out. I highly, highly recommend these guys. Next up, finally got around to picking up some Testament on vinyl. I'm hoping to complete their discography on vinyl. These guys are my favourite thrash band, so I picked up Souls of Black. Really, really good album. Nothing too special about the vinyl, it's just on black vinyl. So that is Souls of Black. The next two are pretty awesome. They're Metal Blade reissues, and that is Testament's Low. I like this album. Their sound did change quite a bit, especially vocally, but I really like this album a lot, especially the second half. The second half is definitely the standout half of this album in my opinion. The amazing thing though, or the awesome thing about this reissue is it's on gold vinyl and it looks absolutely awesome. It's definitely got me very addicted to collecting coloured vinyl. So yeah, that's Testament's Low. This sounds absolutely phenomenal as well. I did give it a spin and no issues, no skipping, it sounded great. So highly recommend these reissues from Metal Blade. And last but certainly not least, one of my favourite Testament albums, The Ritual, certainly has my favourite Testament song on this, being Electric Crown. Again, this is the recent reissue from Metal Blade. Also spun this, and this sounds absolutely phenomenal. Big difference between this and my CD copy. This is again on coloured vinyl, this time just a plain white colour, which looks pretty awesome. But yeah, this is a great reissue. I definitely recommend it. Again, like Low, there was no issues with skipping and it sounded absolutely phenomenal. These are listed as limited, so I'm not really too sure how long they will be available for. But yep, highly recommend this. Alrighty, so there you go guys, that was just the recent stack of music that I've picked up, vinyl, CD and cassette. Let me know what you think of my purchases, what have been some of your favourite albums that I have shown within this update, and I pretty much recommend everything I have shown, so if there's any band that I've shown that you're not familiar with, definitely check them out. Anyway, that does it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it and thank you for watching.